The city never slept. Even when the night swallowed the sky and the lights dimmed in the towers, the streets of Karachi buzzed like a restless heartbeat, horns, vendors, laughter, and somewhere between it all, the sound of a girl singing. Her name was Aisha Noor. She was 17, small and thin, with sun-kissed skin and eyes that carried both dreams and hunger. Every evening, when the traffic slowed and the air grew heavy with the smell of dust and roasted corn, Aisha stood by the old tea stall at the corner of M.A. Jinnah Road. That was her stage: cracked pavement, flickering yellow bulbs, and a dented steel mug that served as her microphone stand. Her voice, though, was nothing like her surroundings. It was clear, raw, full of ache and hope, a sound that made strangers pause, sometimes even close their eyes. But nobody stayed for long. They listened for a moment, maybe smiled, maybe dropped a few coins into her empty box, and then the city swallowed them again. Aisha lived with her mother in a single-room flat behind the railway line. Her father, a bus conductor, had died 3 years ago in an accident that was never really investigated. Her mother stitched clothes all day, earning just enough to keep the stove burning. Every night, when Aisha came home, she'd hand her mother the few coins she had earned from singing. "It's not much," she'd whisper. Her mother would smile, tired but proud. "Every note you sing, my daughter, is worth more than gold." But Aisha didn't want to be worth more than gold. She wanted to be heard. One rainy afternoon, Aisha was singing at the tea stall as usual when a man stopped to listen. He wasn't like the others. He didn't hurry. He didn't look away. He simply stood there, under his umbrella, letting her song soak into him like the rain. When she finished, the man clapped softly. "What's your name?" "Aisha," she said, a little nervous. "You sing beautifully," he said. "Have you ever thought of performing somewhere bigger?" She laughed. A quick, shy sound. "Bigger? Like where?" "The bus stop," he smiled. "Like on television." The man's name was Rahim Khan, a music producer who worked for a small recording studio downtown. He explained that they were holding auditions for a new show, Pakistan's Got Talent, a national competition that searched for raw, undiscovered performers. Aisha's heart almost stopped. A real show, real lights, real audience. But she hesitated, glancing down at her torn sandals. "I've never been to anything like that. I don't even have proper clothes." Rahim shook his head. "They don't care about that. They care about your voice. Come tomorrow. I'll put your name on the list." He handed her a small card with an address printed on it. That night, Aisha barely slept. The rain kept tapping on the roof, and her heart kept racing faster than the drops outside. She imagined herself on a bright stage, holding a microphone, lights shining down, people cheering. Then she imagined failing. For every dream she had, fear followed close behind. The next morning, Aisha wore her cleanest shalwar kameez, pale blue, slightly faded but neatly pressed. Her mother tied her hair into a braid and kissed her forehead. "Go, my songbird," she whispered. "Let them hear what I already know." Aisha walked to the audition hall, clutching the card in her hand like a ticket to another life. The building was huge. Cameras, lights, banners, people everywhere, some singing loudly, others pacing nervously. She felt like an ant in a parade of giants. When her turn finally came, she stepped onto the small stage. The judges sat behind a long table, 3 of them. One was a famous singer, another a producer, and the third, a stern-faced woman known for her brutal honesty. "Name?" one of them asked. "Aisha Noor," she replied softly. "What will you sing for us?" She took a deep breath and said, "An old song, Dil Dun Tahai. My father used to love it." When she began to sing, the room changed. Her voice wasn't perfect. It trembled at first, soft and uncertain. But then it grew, full of emotion, honesty, life. Every note carried her father's memory, her mother's struggle, her own hunger to be something more. The producer looked up. The female judge leaned forward. The audience, even the other contestants, went quiet. And when she finished, the room exploded with applause. Rahim, watching from the corner, smiled proudly. He had seen hundreds of singers, but this girl, this voice, had something different. Something real. Aisha walked off the stage, heart pounding. For the first time in her life, she felt seen. "Congratulations," the assistant told her. "You're through to the next round." She blinked. "Really?" "Yes. You'll perform live next week." Aisha wanted to scream, to dance, to cry, but all she could do was whisper, "Thank you." The next few days passed in a blur. Aisha practiced every morning by the riverbank where the sound of the water covered her mistakes. She watched videos on her neighbor's old smartphone, learning breathing techniques and stage gestures. Her mother made her small meals and hummed along while sewing. "Don't forget where you came from," her mother reminded her. "I won't," Aisha promised. But deep inside, she dreamed of where she was going. The night of the live round arrived. Aisha stood backstage, wearing a simple white dress her mother had stitched from leftover fabric. Around her, other contestants wore sparkling gowns and heavy makeup. She felt plain, small, invisible again. When her name was called, she stepped into the light. The audience looked enormous, the cameras glaring like suns. Her heart raced so hard she thought she might faint. Then she remembered her mother's voice, "Let them hear what I already know." She gripped the microphone, took a breath, and began to sing. It was a new song, one she had written herself about her father, titled, "The Last Goodbye." The first line was soft. "Greater than, you left without a word, but your song stayed behind." By the second verse, her fear melted away. The melody soared, raw and golden, echoing across the hall. Some people in the front row were crying. One of the judges closed his eyes. Even the cameras seemed to slow down, capturing every tear, every tremble in her voice. And when she hit the final note, long, pure, unbroken, the crowd rose to its feet. A moment of silence, then thunder. The sound of applause filled the hall, louder than she had ever heard. The female judge pressed the golden buzzer. Golden confetti rained from the ceiling. Aisha froze, trembling, as the lights turned golden and the music swelled. Her mother was in the audience, crying uncontrollably, her hands covering her face. Aisha dropped to her knees, overwhelmed. Her dream, the one that had lived only in her heart, was suddenly, impossibly real. That night, the video of her performance went viral. The street girl who stunned the nation. Millions of views, thousands of comments, news anchors, celebrities, everyone was talking about her. But while the world saw a shining star, Aisha sat quietly on the floor of her one-room home, still clutching her mother's hand. "I did it, Ami," she whispered. Her mother smiled through tears. "No, my love," she said softly. "You began it."